All right. What?
A bunch of junk just popped up on my screen. There we go. It
Oh,
was just the
hey
computer.
everyone, welcome back to
Hold
Bridge the
on.
Gap
Stop.
podcast.
Pause.
Okay.
What are you looking for? This one green pen? All right. Let's restart.
All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bridge the Gap podcast. I'm Lauren,
And I'm Scott.
and again, I've been relocated temporarily. This is now my third week in a row being home.
Yeah.
Which has been a lot of driving for me, but the last two times I had reasons, and then this time my reasoning is my dad is finally getting some days off of work today and tomorrow, so came home to spend some time with the family because this is the last time I will be up here for a while.
Well, you said that
'cause
last time though too.
Yeah, until you're like, well, it'd be really nice if like you came up to hang out since I've been working. So that changed things a little, but
It did change things a little bit.
just a little bit. So I am home for the next couple of days, and then I go back and probably won't be back up to Fort Mill for a while because I need to work.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, the only reason why is because your work has been pretty cool with, dude, can you stop messing with the mic? Good Lord. It's making all sorts of
in my
noise
room
over
it's
here.
like in my room it's hard to like find a good place to like set it down. I'm filming on an ottoman under my window currently, so it's hard to. Yeah, well, you know what? Last week you had microphone sound that I had to mute. So you know what?
All right. Well, you know,
Get back on topic.
two wrongs don't make a right. Have you?
Get back
Didn't
on
I teach you that?
topic.
Didn't I teach you that?
This is the last time I will be home for a while.
Well, what I was gonna say though is your work has been pretty cool about not scheduling you every other day, so you have some days off together. And with it being summertime, and your mom works in the school system, so she's off, and your best friends both living here and home for the summer, for the most of the summer at least, it just makes sense for you to come up. I mean, why not take advantage of it while you can,
Yeah, it's a good little like reset kind of thing. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to have you home. I mean, I know I'm working a lot and have been, but it's weird. It's weird getting older because your kids are gone a lot. And so even when you're home, even if I'm not talking to you because we're watching TV or I'm at work and then, only have a few hours, it just feels comfortable. It just feels nice. It feels like it always has. And, that's the weird thing. Life changes, obviously. You have to change. And things, as a parent, your role is to raise good people so that they're good adults and they contribute to society in hopefully a positive way. And so all of that is good when you see your kids grow up and they become independent and they find their own levels of success in whatever they're doing, whether it's a summer job like your brother or it's you being a 21-year-old and having a job and finishing a successful semester at school and then embarking on a new endeavor with what you want to do for your career. Like all that's great.
Yeah.
But then as the parent, it's like, I did too good of a job because now they're gone. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird feeling. Like it's so it's so bittersweet to be at the stage of life that we're in,
Yeah.
because a lot of families don't get to this stage, right? There's tragedy every day, and there's heartache, and there's sadness, and there's disenfranchised families, and there's a lot of people that don't get to experience the feeling that we're going through as a family right now.
Yeah.
And that's the logical part of the brain that dominates my thinking, but then the emotional side gets in there, and you're like, oh, like, well, that's good. Like, that's
Yeah.
good. I'm glad. I mean, it's just a weird thing. And so on the flip side, and it's weird for you, and it was weird for me when I was your age, because my dad did talk to me a little bit about this, not at your age. He wasn't real supportive of me at your age. Not because of him, just because of some of the decisions I was making and things that I was trying to do that my dad just couldn't, he just couldn't understand it. So he didn't talk to me about this stuff at 21. He talked to me about it like when I was 25 or 26, when I, really, and maybe this is credit to your mom, but really I think after I met your mom, I kind of mellowed out a little bit and thought about my future and stuff like that. But he talked to me a little bit about it, how it's weird. And I know I've mentioned this before, so it's not anything like earth-shatteringly new that we've talked about, but it is weird. It's just comfortable when the four of us are together.
Yeah.
And it feels good, even if I'm not even saying anything or talking, or there's not an event, it's just, all four of us are under the same roof again. Wow.
Yeah.
And those moments are fewer and fewer and further between, I mean,
Yeah.
and someday it'll never happen again, and so it's nice having you home. And I know for you, you're like, you say it's nice to have me home, but you're not here. We haven't done anything. And I'm like, I know, but it's just comforting to know. And it makes me happy when I hear about like days like yesterday where you and your mom spent the day together running errands and doing things and having a good time. And, and then when I came home and, Ryan was home from work, from his summer job, and you guys are all sitting out back, and I joined you, and we sat out there for a little bit before we had to come and eat dinner. Like those moments I cherish those moments, because I don't know how many more we're going to have where it's just the four, and my mom, Ashley, ironically, she used to comment on that. And I thought it was so, at the time, I thought she was just being mean. You know what I mean? Like, because she'd be like, well, because my sister has been married to her husband for 30 years, 30-ish years.
Okay.
And your mom and I have been together for 25, married for 23. And so there were times where my mom would say, I wish it was just the four of us. And so I took offense to it, because I was like, well, that's mean. Like, you're excluding your daughter-in-law or your son-in-law or whatever,
Right. Yeah. Okay. When you put it that way, it makes sense. Before, you were just like, it was mean. I was like, what do you mean that's mean?
I didn't say it was mean. I said I thought it felt mean, or I thought it was mean. It just came
that's what
across
I mean, though.
as
Like,
mean
it was like,
to me
it
at
was
the
like,
time.
how?
And so, but now I understand, because, family dynamics change as the kids get older, obviously. And then when they introduce their significant others, then the formula changes forever, And so, yeah, that's what I mean by fewer and farther between. But I also now appreciate, my mom saying, I wish it was just the four of us, because we never have those moments anymore. Or my dad saying, it's weird, because even if we don't do anything, it just feels better when everybody's together. It's just, it's a weird thing.
It's finding comfort in what's normal. Like, it's been a normal thing for so long to have everyone in the house. So when it's not like that, it feels weird because it's not what you've become comfortable with for so many years.
Right. Yeah. It's
That's why they tell you you can't get too comfortable. Never get too comfortable because things change and then you're left reeling.
right.
And when you're a control freak, those changes suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cuz mom, it's so funny like to be in a situation like I'm in where I'm very similar to you in a lot of ways, but I get a little more extreme depending on what it is. Like Mom and I were talking about it yesterday. My need to be in control at all times is damaging. Like, we had a set list of things we were doing yesterday, and then she was like, well, we're actually going to just throw this in there real quick. And I was like, no, because that throws off my entire like mental schedule. And like when people say, be ready to leave the house by 10:30. Okay, if we're not in the car at 10:28, we're behind schedule. Like that's how my brain works and it puts me almost in a panic when things do get behind. And so that need to control and like find the comfortability and like a schedule or all those kinds of things, it can get dangerous. And that's why, couples like you guys have talked about, why they divorce because they've had such a set schedule for 20 years of their life. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, now what?
Yeah. Well,
So you never get too comfortable.
there's a lot to unpack there. Some of it has to do with you just being at the age that you're in where you have complete control pretty much of everything that you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, which is normal. I mean, that's normal.
Yeah.
And so you become inflexible because you don't have to be flexible for anyone or anything, like it's just
Yeah.
you. I was the same
but
way.
I always had that control though, because I remember a few years ago, and the memory just popped up. We went to your close friend, his son. It was his graduation party, and all day we said we were leaving the house by a certain time. Well, that time came and went, and we left like 15 to 20 minutes later because of whatever. And I was stressed to the max. I was in a bad mood because of it. And I remember you and I got into a little tiff because you were like, well, it's not like they said we have to be here at this time or the world's going to end. It's graduation party. You show up after it starts at some point. And I was like, yeah, but we said we were going to be there by this time. And now we're leaving at this time. I'm like, that looks bad. Like, I've been that way for a while. It's just, and you and I got in a tiff and you were like, things are not always going to happen how you want them to.
And I
But
was
that's
right.
like, yes. But it's just hard for my brain to like understand that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, okay, well, if we all talked about leaving at this specific time, how has something happened to derail that? How has it come about that no one's freaking ready to go? Like, this has been talked about all day long.
Yeah. Well,
When we woke up this morning, we went, what do we have to do today? Well, we can run errands from this time to this time, but we have to be ready by this time to go to this. It's been in the plans. So, like, I don't know. That's just how my brain works. So I have never understood people who are constantly late or struggle. I wasn't looking at the time. Well, you just don't care. We're not like that. It's the certain instances where like a dog's thrown up or the outfit didn't work out how it was planned, whatever. Things happen. I'm talking about people who are constantly showing up 15 to 20 minutes late to something, and it's like that's just disrespectful to me because these plans have been in place. People who are always like, I'm bad at time management. You're 18 years old. Figure it out.
Yeah. I think there's certain people, and you're one of them, and I am one too, that are just punctual and sometimes too driven for achievement. even subconsciously. So like leaving on time and getting there on time is an achievement. And we calculate it that way in our brain. It's like done, got it, check mark. And I think the thing with I think the thing that I've learned is that I have to be a bit more flexible because not everybody's running my race. But when I was your age, it was only my race. You know,
Yes.
I didn't have a serious relationship. I
Nope.
just hung out. I worked, went to school, then moved. I was 100% me, just all me.
Yeah.
You know, so I've learned as I've gotten older to chill a little bit because not everybody's in the same race. Not everybody wants to win the race. And I have to find a way to make sure that my race and the winning of it doesn't take over somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like literally on Monday when I was driving up here, I told Mom on Sunday night, because I had worked a double, I was like, I want to leave a little early, but I'll probably leave around like 9:30 so I can sleep in a little bit.
Yeah.
I was filling up my tank at 9:15. And Mom, I called her because she went to breakfast with the grandparents, so I didn't want to interrupt that. But I called her when I was in like 20 minutes from the house, and she was like, "Yeah, why did you leave so early?" I was like, "Because 9:30 was the last possible time that I was actually leaving the house." Like that was my like, if you get past 9:30, you failed. And it was well, I need to fill up my gas and get coffee. Okay, so if I want to actually be on the road by 9:30, I need to be out of this house by 9:15 because I have to fill up my gas, which takes an average of 5 minutes. Then I have to drive to the coffee place, which takes about 4. Placing the coffee order takes about like that's how my brain works. And I was on the actual road heading home by 9:20. Like I had it all timed perfectly. Like, and that's just like you said, when it's just you, that's how you can operate if you have a brain like you and I do, where everything's an accomplishment. So I said 9:30. Well, guess what? I beat that by 15 minutes. Like that's how, and like the ETA on the phone. Okay, bet. You know, like that's all like
right.
That's all a race to us. It's a okay, well, how can I beat that? By the way, no one's holding a gun to our head saying,
right.
"Hey, if you leave past 9:30."
Exactly.
But you know who is holding a gun to my head? Me. Like my own sense of self is like, if you don't walk out that door before 9:30, you're going to hit all this traffic and you're going to get in a car accident and they're not going to have the coffee you want. That's what goes through my head.
Yeah, I get it. Like I'm like that, and even now, and obviously circumstantially, it dictates certain reactions. But I know because I work. It's a 45-minute drive without traffic. If I leave it this time, I'll get there like 3 minutes early. If I leave 3 minutes later, I'll get there 10 minutes late. You know what I mean? So I like I understand that part of it, but I think for you, if I had the guidance back then, like I'm trying to have with you, it would be learn how to let go of some of that. Not let go of it like it changes you as a person. Don't change. Be who you are. And when it's you and you have the control, then be that way. Like me with work, right? Like even this morning, I was technically off, but I went in. And I was like, well, my brain told me, well, I don't have to get there at such and such time because I'm not even really supposed to be there. But then I went to bed last night. I was like, no, I'm going to get up and do it. Like, because I have control of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it's others, learning to adjust yourself and that goal of winning, the sooner you can work on that, the more ahead of your age you're going to be. You know what I mean? Because most people, especially nowadays that are your age, have zero patience for anything. They just have none because they grew up with immediate gratification 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because of internet and phones and social media and everything else, you know? And so, you know, at my work, I have some department leads that are your age, and it's like the sky is falling for everything, which is very similar to you. And then it's well, if I did it, it would be this way. Well, there's 180 people here, so it can't just be your way, you know? So it's so that theme of prioritizing yourself is not anything different through generation, right? I mean, maybe way back, because women and men got married at like 16, so maybe, and had babies at 17 and 18, so maybe back then. But for modern history, I don't think that 20 to 25 age range changes. You're all about you and everything. The world revolves around you. And rightfully, it's like we've said, it kind of should. Mm-hmm. But then what's new is the lack of patience and the lack of understanding, and if I did it, because everybody's an expert about everything, because we've all been in here forever and we think we know it and we've seen it all and blah blah blah, and the reality is you haven't. And so I have to tell these young leaders, like, okay, deep breath, hold on a second, right? Like, I have to paint a picture. I can't just say, because if I just say without the painting, they don't hear it. You know, you got to paint the whole thing.
Yeah, it's really weird because, like, I am very, like, if I did it, it'd be better. But I've been that way since I was a kid, and I think it's the difference between people who are driven and those who just kind of let things happen.
Yeah.
Because when you're a driven person, you know, you've already thought of every avenue this could take. And when you have to then work with people that might take that avenue that you really did not want to take, it's hard to adjust to if you're a driven person, because it's like, well, the way that I wanted to do it was so much more efficient.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I do a good job of being empathetic and adjusting, especially with working in a restaurant. You kind of have to, because you all rely on each other.
Yeah.
The only thing you can control is how good your table, like how much your table likes you. That's all you can control, because everything else is how fast can the salads get made? How fast is the dinner going to take? How quick is the bartender going to be able to make those drinks? Is somebody going to help me run those salads? Like, all that kind of stuff is very team. So especially with working in a restaurant, I try to, like, it's helped me be more, bless you, empathetic to the stuff that may or may not happen. And on the road, especially, like, I'm like, well, maybe that person's just having a really bad day, and the fact that I merged into their lane just really set them off. Like, that's what I kind of think about, is I'm like, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they just got the best news of their life, and that's why they're so speedy and want to get around me because I'm not going fast enough. Like, I try to think of those things.
That's good
as well. It is increasingly difficult in the world that we live in, with the lack of empathy that everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
I do struggle with the older population when it comes to a lot of things, I will say. But I think that's just the age thing.
I think it's the age thing. And I can guarantee you, now that I'm in that age group and I was in yours, it's shared. You know what I mean? Like, we get really frustrated with your age group too.
I'm not talking about your age group, though. I'm talking about the boomers.
Oh, well.
Like, they are in a restaurant, they are snapping at you. They are, where's my stuff right this second at you.
Right.
There's keep the change, and it's $1.50, which won't even buy me a Tootsie Roll anymore.
Tootsie Roll.
You know, like,
you pulled out
that
a
kind of
Tootsie
thing.
Roll?
I did.
That was a way reach back. Woo!
I know. But that's because I remember, like, as a kid at QT, they always had them in the basket, and they were like 25 cents a piece. That doesn't exist anymore. So that's just what I was thinking of. But when
That's
they're
funny.
like, keep the change and it's $2, that won't even buy me a tank, like a quarter of a gallon.
No, that's
buying
not
me
true.
nothing. Stop.
I gotcha.
Buying me nothing.
Yeah.
And then on the road, oh my Lord, I understand that when you get older, it gets a little hard to do certain things. I understand that speed limits are just a non-concept to them. But it gets on my nerves. Like, there's a point where we should not be, as a society, allowing this. And again, I take a deep breath. If I get angry, I look in their side mirror. And if I see white hair or gray hair, I take a deep breath.
Hey, easy. I've got gray hair.
I take a deep breath. But it is just weird because I can be more empathetic with like your age group. It's the boomers that I'm like, I just refilled your Coke. Why are you snapping at me? You know, like, what do you need right this second that I did not fulfill 30 seconds ago?
Yeah, I think
that's just also how their service industry was. It was very like, here, you know, like now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily why. I think there's, I mean, I'm not my parents' age, right? So I'm not 100% sure, but I don't remember them being like that when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I don't think it's that. I think there's maybe a lot. I don't know. I'm not even going to try and speculate, but I mean, I'm gonna try and speculate, but I'm not sure. You know, I think there might be an element of like, I've paid my dues.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and
like
and
a seniority.
yeah,
like
I get that. I totally understand and get that. I feel that way sometimes now. It's like, you know, I mean. Yeah, I think that's probably where it comes from the most, is like,
I think it's that. And then, like, you know, when you're a kid, you're told respect your elders. So I think
they've earned it.
Almost psychologically, as you get older, you remember that, or you hope that kids are being taught that still. So I don't know if it's because you're older, you have the seniority and the respect your elders, that you think acting kind of that way isn't disrespectful because you're an elder, but it's still like, because if I were a server and I walked up and y'all were still talking as I was trying to get drink orders and I went, hey,
yeah, well,
y'all would lose your mind.
Well, yeah,
so it's like,
because it's
that kind of, but it's disrespectful regardless. That's all I'm trying to say, because I would never ever 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 snap in somebody's face like that.
Right.
But
yeah.
I that's what I think it is. It's a psychological respect your elders. Okay, I'm on Social Security, so now I'm the elder. Everyone needs to respect me, and I can act how I want. And it's like,
well, obviously you're speaking in generalities. So
very generality. I have a lot of very kind guests. It's the handful, but it's just like everything. It's the handful of those people that make it a generalization.
Yeah. I just want to make sure, because yeah, I mean, I think there's some people that are just inherently rude and angry, and and as you get older, you get angrier and angrier, and that's just how some people are built, you know. You have some that embrace old age and they're the life of the party and they're the greatest, and they just think getting old's the best, and come over and let's talk and have a drink, and they just fully embrace it and have a great time. And then there's a lot of people probably in the middle of all that. And then I think there's a segment that's just maybe they weren't angry all the time, but they are now because they are old, and it sucks getting old. It's a blessing and a curse all at the same time, and every cliche that you hear comes true. Like, I remember my dad saying, I can't remember the last time I woke up and I didn't hurt somewhere, and I was always like, well, get in shape. Well, I'm in pretty good shape, and every day I wake up and something hurts, you know? And so now I'm like, so then, you know, I can get that. I can understand how after years and years, you're like, what the and you get angry, you know? I also do think that they are encountering a life that's dramatically different for the first time, in the fact that your generation holistically, generally, not holistically, but generally,
I was going to say,
don't respect anything that they don't have a part of. Meaning,
yes,
you know, and you see it all the time. It's like old person gets on a bus and a young person doesn't get up and move over and allow them to sit. That was pretty normal when they were young, meaning the baby boomers. That was a normal expectation. Like, you did that.
You get up
you
for
know?
old people and pregnant women.
Or women in general. If you're a man and you're sitting on a bus or a subway in a suit going to work in the 60s, and any woman gets on there, several would get up and she would pick which one she wanted. It's just our culture has evolved away from some of those niceties and customs and respect, and now everybody has to earn it to me personally for me to respect you. There's no general respect for anything. And that's so sad. And it's hard because we're the parents that tried to raise you guys with more traditional family and societal values. And we're a lot of the time we're the minority, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of time we were. Like, we taught you and your brother to shake hands and speak to adults and be respectful. And then you guys have friends that would come over and they would not say hi. They wouldn't say thank you. And like, then it makes us look like we're the assholes because we demand our level of respect and stuff. And it's like, and so it's hard because it's like you're the black sheep of a society because you want to teach traditional values and respect and manners. It's like, oh, how crazy are we?
It is weird. Yeah, because like I even have coworkers who will talk about their family in a way where I'm like, that's crazy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, some of them are completely valid. Like, oh, my mom beat me when I was a kid. So whenever she texts me, I just don't want to answer. Okay, I don't blame you. I would have already blocked her number, you know? Like,
right.
But some people just have zero, like, regard at all. And I'm just like, okay, so your mom's a bitch because she told you can't go out with a drug dealer?
Yeah.
Why is that? I don't understand. Like, that's disconnect.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to me.
Well,
my mom, I wouldn't even told my mom I was going out with a drug dealer because she would have kicked my butt.
I would have killed you.
Right. And another thing, we've kind of touched on this, as I think that the generations are becoming more and more unempathetic, or they have a lack of empathy due to the internet, like we talked about. Because I've said this before, we were never meant to be exposed to as many issues and deaths and crime as we are. Like, Mom and I talking about that guy in Yemen, that he was an adventure junkie and he decided to scale the crater of a volcano. Well, he lost his grip and he died. And, you know, we're sitting there and we're like, yeah, that's sad, but he's stupid. Totally rude of us to say, right? Which, again, we're acknowledging that was rude of us to say. But we've become so empathetic as a human race because it's like, sorry. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden making up words.
That's okay.
But, you know, like that.
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't have been in a crater of a volcano. We shouldn't have even realistically found out about this man in Yemen. Yemen is so out of context to my everyday life that I shouldn't even care that just happened. Like, we've been exposed to too much.
Yeah.
And because of that, we've become very self-serving and like, well, it didn't affect me. And that's something that I ran into in friendships before, where they were like, well, they didn't do anything to me. Well, they did something to me, and you call me your best friend. So why is that not just a domino effect? If something happens to my friends or my family, I take it as an insult to myself.
Right.
And so that, I think that has also been a huge factor, is the over exposure to just everything in the world.
Yeah.
And humans were never meant to have this much content thrown in their face all the time.
I don't disagree with any of that. I think what's interesting to me, there's two things. Number one, the lack of empathy is 100%. I think because we just are dull to everything. Like
Tragedies.
You know what I mean? We're just dull to everything. Think about music and you grew up in a house that listened to music. We talked about this, and all those bands from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, they fought and clawed and grinded and, multiple rejections. And that's arts in general, right? Actors, musicians, writers. J.K. Rowling, 12 publishers turned Harry Potter down, right? She grinded and grinded. But now AI does it. And so right? But so there's no, that emotion, that grind, that sacrifice, all of that, that's just a little bit part of where we've evolved as a society.
Yeah.
To where we don't show empathy and we don't show respect, because I don't have respect for a pop singer that's huge right now that had 19 people write the song for them and a computer produced it. I don't have respect for that, right? Or I don't have any empathy for any, because they don't have any struggle. They didn't struggle,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's that element that we're just exposed to so much, and nothing phases us. We're just numb. The music sounds duller to me. It doesn't have as much emotion. It doesn't have as much meaning. Movies, same thing. I feel about that.
Movies suck nowadays.
I just think as a society we become dull. And numb,
100%.
The other side of that is the respect and the generational thing. I mean, I'm in a facility, I'm the boss. And I've done it with a few organizations where there's not anyone higher up than me in the vicinity. And I used to, not that I certainly don't abuse it. I wouldn't still be in that position if I abused it, right? But I do carry myself as the role. This is who I am. It's what I do. And as my career is going on the back end of my life, right? Because I'm 51. I've worked more than I hopefully have to work. God help willing, knock on wood. Mega millions, whatever.
He's like, God help willing.
God help will. Please, I don't want to work longer from here to the end of my life than I've worked before. That
was funny.
I used to walk around and there was respect because I earned it, but I also had a title to support it, right?
Yeah.
And as my career has gone, I've been floored by sometimes where I'm walking and somebody says something to me, or I'll provide some direction or something, and what they come back with, I'm like, oh, and I go, okay, and I just kind of keep going. And then in some instances, I've heard like another associate be like, dude, that was the director. You can't say that like they recognize it, and but before you would never have those moments where they had to be like, dude, you just said something to this person. And not that the title should dictate how that person engages. I don't believe in that at all. We all put our pants on the same way. We should all respect each other as associates and things,
and just humans.
And humans, right? But
age-old thing, we all bleed red at the end of the day.
Right. But I do also believe that people are in positions of authority because they've earned it, whether it's through time, whether it's through experience, whether it's through whatever, however you get promoted, a combination of both, So it's more and more widespread now. So that lack of respect versus the lack of empathy, I think they go together generationally, that we're both like right now, I think it's at the lowest points of my life. And I do think social media has a lot to do with that, 100%. You know,
Yeah.
and
And you
I
bringing
told
up
your
AI
mom,
as well. You bringing up AI real quick is another huge thing because it's also causing a lack of drive in a lot of people because it's like, okay, well, I can just tell that to do it. Like I had a coworker where they asked me what I did yesterday on my day off. And I was like, oh, I went to a coffee shop at 9 a.m. and I wrote for 3 hours. And they were like, you wrote? I was like, yeah, I write. I like writing. I'm trying to write a book right now. So that's what I do in my free time. They're like, you just sat there and wrote? And
that's
I was
so
like,
foreign.
yes. They're like without help, no chat GPT or any, and that almost made me want to like strangle them a little
Yeah,
bit. I don't resort to violence ever, but mentally, I just wanted to be like, yeah, I had an original thought and I put it to paper.
right,
Yes, I did it. I did it without the help of a computer.
right.
I don't, yeah, the AI too. It's like, so right now we're struggling with a lack of respect, a lack of empathy, a lack of logic, period,
Yeah,
lack of education, and laziness because
yeah. It's
AI.
weird.
But that's a whole nother conversation that we've already had. I just had to,
Yeah. No, no, no.
it's all tying together.
But yeah,
So,
yeah. I agree. It's a weird time in our existence. It's just, and
yes.
I hope it swings back. I mean, I've always told you and your brother that the great thing about the world, whether it's, you know, politics, sports, um, relationships, society, pendulum swing, right? And
Yeah.
you know, obviously there was a period in time where this pendulum was way over here and there was a ton of oppression for others and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that wasn't good, obviously. And then the pendulum swings and then we always tend to go way farther the other way. We can never balance in the middle. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't have, you know, segregation and women's rights should be there. You know, like
Yeah.
but instead of just going,
And child
yeah,
labor. Maybe we shouldn't
maybe we
throw
should do
children in a
that.
factory.
Right. Like we go from, okay, we're over here, maybe we shouldn't do it. And instead of just going, okay, let's not do that, we go, okay, not only are we going to do that, but now, you
Yeah.
know, now women should have all the boss jobs or, you
Yeah.
know, white men shouldn't have any responsibility with this or that. Like we just swing too far, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like, okay, so I always tell you guys, no matter what is going on, the pendulums are it's gonna swing. The
Yeah.
goal for you and your brother and your family when you get one and all that is to always try and find the middle because there's always a need to find that middle balance, you
Yeah.
know? And
Well, it's almost human nature to also just go to the extreme, right? Like we hear, I remember my senior year of high school or 2021. I can't remember when Russia first bombed Ukraine. My brain immediately went to, no, well, there's World War III.
right.
Like it's human nature to just immediately go like, huh, well, that's the end of the human race, I guess. Like
Right.
it's so weird. We go from, like you said, there's no in between. Like humans, as we
Yeah.
just always are like, all right, well, we just shouldn't give anything anymore, or let's just give it all. Like it's
Yeah. It's so
what if we just give some,
yeah.
guys? Like,
It's like
why don't
you
we
know,
just
and you could do it for everything. Like I said,
yeah,
politics, sexual acceptance, right? Like
yeah,
it's like, okay, this is all illegal or whatever. You can't get married, same sex, blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, maybe that's not right. We should that should two people in love should be able to be together. Like, what are we doing?
yeah,
But then we
right,
go, okay, but then let's take off our clothes on the White House lawn during a Pride event, you know? And it's like, okay,
right,
well, now we're a little too far this way. Like, can
right.
we just
Public indecency is still a law.
right, right. And listen,
Like, yeah,
good, bad, or indifferent, and some of it sounds ridiculous, but you know, it is what it is sometimes, you know? Like a
yeah,
woman can't show her chest in public. A guy can. Well, why? If you really want to digest it, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah, it really makes no sense because the part of the woman that's indecent is the nipples. Well, then what am I staring at the man right there?
Right. I mean,
homie has them.
When you break it down, it's ridiculous. But then we can't find the middle ground. We have to go the full other extreme where you get people that just take off their shirts in the middle of like a corporate event. Yeah. And they do this big show. And it's like, okay, maybe we don't need to do that. Like, can we just find, it's like, it's amazing how quickly, and I'm trying to use examples that are not offensive because I'm certainly not trying to offend anybody. That's why I say collectively, and I've tried to use sex and segregation and gender and sexual orientation. Like I've tried to show that, I know where we were as a civilization, we very
limiting, very oppressive. Yeah.
And it's not even geographically isolated to us. It still happens across the world. I mean, as a white man, I certainly can't go into certain parts of this world and expect to be treated the same. I won't be.
Yeah.
So we didn't solve it. That's for sure.
We never will. We
probably never will. But you want to talk about pendulums, like, put me in the middle of Zimbabwe and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably not going to do very well, and
right.
And so then the pendulum,
or like even with religion, prime example is Iran. Yeah. When they were a republic, women could wear whatever they wanted, drink, have a voice.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this new regime came in, and at first it was like,
Islamic
all right,
regime.
we just want it to be a little different. And all of a sudden now all women are required to wear a burqa. Girls can't go to school past the age of 10. They can't speak. They can't look at a man. They can't be in public without
they can get publicly beaten. They can, I mean,
right.
You're 100% right.
1970s that they were allowed to do. They had all the same freedoms that women do in America. And then just within 50 years.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's how
it's not isolated
to
just America. I know. And like, it's not isolated to just America. Humans will never, ever find that perfect in between. That's why if you've ever read a book that's a utopian, it's always a dystopian, because there is no way humans can ever live in a utopian society.
There's not.
It's impossible. Human nature will not allow it.
And I wish we could. I really do. And
I know, because at the end of the day, how hard is it to just love thy neighbor? Like,
or just be a good person. Like
I'm not exist?
I'm not a great person. I'll admit I am not a great person. But I'm a decent person. You know what I mean? Like I respect.
I'm not a piece of shit.
I respect my neighbor. Like I don't do any. Like I don't. Your brother had a bunch of people over this weekend, and it was a Saturday night in the summertime. But they're older, and so I told them, "Hey, 11 o'clock, cut it off. Come inside. No more loud outside." So I'm
more loud outside.
No more loud outside. Right? Like
no more loud outside.
I'm talking to him like he's 2.
But sometimes it's necessary.
Like that's just the decent thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But then some people will take it to the extreme one way to say it's dark. It should have stopped at 9. And well, that's way over here.
It's not realistic.
And then you have the other people that are like, well, it's my property, and it's mine, and I did, and blah, 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 so I can go as long as I. It's like, okay, well, that's not good either, way over here. So
right.
Let's just try and find the middle, but
right.
I was thinking about utopian because my drive to work
is a dystopian in itself.
Has 3 critical points that I wish didn't exist, and they're all merging, right? And so I was in the line today, and I watched this truck cut and almost hit cars and the whole thing. It's the typical, it goes down to one lane and people just cut everybody off.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, God, it would be so nice if we could get to, as a society, and the whole self-driving car mentality, to where it just did it all for us, and it was never someone cutting in at the end. It was all just naturally zippered in, one car.
Because God forbid people know how to zipper merge.
Right? And I was like,
just let it happen.
In a utopian society, I bet you that would work. Like I literally was thinking about that this morning. But it'll never exist because somebody will break it or do
Well,
something.
and it's the small things too, like even on a smaller scale. Chick-fil-A drive-thru. This always pisses me off. It's 2 lanes. It merges into 1. If you're in the left, if I'm sitting in the right lane, the outer lane and the inner lane, right? If the person in the inner lane just merged in, guess whose turn it is? Mine. You big fat red truck just cut me off and pushed my order back by 1. And not only did you do that, you messed up the entire system because now the order of operations is off.
Right.
And it's those small moments where I'm like, I wasn't that hungry, but now because you cut me off, I'm even hungrier. Now I'm even angrier. I did my time. I did my time.
It is so true. It's crazy. So anyway.
It is crazy.
I don't know.
It's like, look, I used to think the hippies were kind of crazy, and I still think some of the practices that they did were weird. But they had a point. They just wanted everyone to get along. They didn't care who you kissed. They didn't care where you came from.
Right.
Because it really doesn't matter.
Right. But then like you said, get along. I know. But then like you said,
it's hard.
We all start well. You know what I mean? Like, let me rephrase.
Yeah. Most things start with good
Most
intentions.
things and most humans wake up and they are really legitimately trying to do, I think, in my very humble, limited view of the world, I think most people wake up and go, okay, I'm going to try and make the best of what I have today, right?
Right. Let's have a good day.
That doesn't mean that they're like getting up and they're happy. They might be angry because their life isn't going the way that they always wanted, but they don't wake up to say, okay, I'm going to go into work and I'm going to, if I drive a freaking bulldozer, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go do the bulldozing work and, whatever, or I'm going to go be a teacher or whatever it is. They don't wake up. Most people, I don't think, wake up and be like, you know what? I've got this bulldozer underneath me. I'm going to go plow through a building and kill a bunch of people because I'm angry.
I can piss off today.
Right. Like I think majority of people really do try, and I think the sad part is these things have good intentions when they start, and then it always just seems that a certain selection of organization or person or people or group, or they take it and they distort it, whether for their own benefits or for what they believe others benefits. You know what I mean? So like you can take any group of people, right? Like I'm sure, and I'm not educated enough and I didn't grow up, but I'm sure, to your point, when the whole peace, love thing came about, had very good intentions, but then it went a little haywire. People start, a little too much LSD, which is a mind altering drug, which turns into the Mansons, which turns into, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, we always distort stuff, and it's like,
or like Woodstock. Woodstock's a prime example where it was meant to be this cool festival. Everyone can get together, have a good time. It was the number one rape day that America
talking about
had,
the original Woodstock or the ones in the 90s?
Both of them were shit. Like, and then one in the 90s, they tried to make it better, and it was still terrible. Like
the 99 one was bad. 94 was not as bad. 99 was rough.
99 was that one was. And
rough.
It's like, but it all starts with good intentions. They're like, all right, well, Woodstock 69 was a little bad, so let's revamp it. Let's have better safety precautions. However, we're still going to let as many people come as they want.
Right.
And we're going to trust that all these humans are going to act appropriately at this free concert.
Goes back to Lord of Flies methodology
God, that's such a good show. I love that show. I love that book. Everyone needs to read it and watch it. It teaches you a lot.
Yeah, it is crazy. And you can say that about, we said the hippie movement, but you can say it about religion, any type of religion. I think religion starts with great intentions, and then humans get involved in a certain selection, distort it. I'm sure, and I don't know, but I know that what I do know is Western religion, Catholicism, Christianity, all that, we certainly have had our dark spots and probably continue to do so. But I don't know if it, but you go back however many thousands of years, and I don't think that's what it was intended for. Maybe it was. I don't know. I wasn't there. And I'm sure the big thing now is the whole Islamic thing. And I'm, like you said, I'm sure it started right, and then, you get certain people in positions that can influence it. And now it's, it's not so right, and it's, I don't think that's ever going to change as long as humans are in control, because
all the way back to, again, ancient history.
Yeah. We always seem to ruin great things. I mean, it's kind of a bummer. And I think we're on a cusp of another shift, and they say, peaceful times, what do they say? Soft times or peaceful times create soft men, and then soft men make hard times, and hard times make hard men, or something like that. I'm getting it wrong, but the gist of it, if you really think about it as a society, the last major war was 50 years ago. I mean, I know we had Desert Storm, and I'm not discrediting that war and what that did to the people that served. And I'm not discrediting 9/11 and what we had to do after that. And I'm not discrediting all that. But when you think about like World War II and Vietnam, like significant impacts where we had a draft and we had millions of casualties, that created some really good times afterwards.
Yeah.
And
that's the reason the Roaring '20s happened, and then the Depression happened afterwards,
and then World War II happened after that, and then
which boosted the economy, which led to the '50s, and that's why everyone calls those the golden years.
Right.
Shall we go on?
Right. And I know that's very limited in a viewpoint for being a white person in the United States, because I know the '50s obviously for other races wasn't good. I get that.
Yes.
But you can say that for any type of civilization, right? Like it was really hard in Rome, and then they conquered everything, and then they got very complacent and easy, and then they imploded.
Burnt in a day.
You know what I mean? They imploded. So you can go back.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but it did crumble in one. It did
crumble in one. And I feel like we're at this place where it's been pretty easy for us for quite a while, you know what I mean? Like it was real easy for a lot of people in the 90s, and then 9/11 happened, and we're like, whoa, what the hell?
Right.
And then it created some really crazy cool advancements in the early 2000s, or the 2000s and the 10s, I guess. And then we're in this place again where it's like, and we're throwing labels out. Like we're back in this weird space to where it's like, I almost feel like something's going to happen, you know? And then it's going to be like, oh, well, here we go. Now we got to be tough. And the scary part to me is that, do we have the ability to be tough again as a society? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whether you agree with it or not, there are certain things we have to do that are tough. And you can think about that as a person. You can think about that as an organization, as a family, a company, as a country, politically, whatever. 30, 50 years ago, we wouldn't let Cubans into the United States at all because of the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? 60, 70 years ago or whatever. And now you got all these softies that are like mad that soccer team is getting extra scrutiny because of the World Cup. And it's like, well, I know it's not the players' fault, just like it wasn't some of these citizens' faults from Cuba. But the reality is we're in a disagreement, although we just did sign it. It's official that we've ended that. But at
they
the
also
time
blew up New York not too long ago.
At the time of this airs, right?
Right.
And it's like, I understand why people are like, man, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's a normal reaction.
It is
at least
in
my viewpoint. It is a bummer. But the reality is,
it is not their fault.
The reality is, that's just what we have to do. Just like we did back in the day, and just like it'll happen in the future. And we always don't know the whole story, even though we think we do, because of all the stuff that we've already talked about, you know. And
free media is not free media, y'all.
yeah, I mean, like, I'll end on this as another example, and then we can wrap up. But like, there was a FIFA referee from Somalia.
Yeah.
And they were up in arms because they rejected him. The United States didn't let him in. And, you know, I see a bunch of soccer pages because I love soccer. And so the European press and all that kind of stuff. And they're just blasting the United States about how bad we are. And, you know, he was vetted by FIFA. He's highly regarded, blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out he said some anti-Semitic things not too long ago. And so we're like, well, we don't like that because that's not nice. And it's not, you know, you're discriminating against a race of people. And so we're not going to allow you to come here, you know? And now the stories, now it's all dropped away.
You know, if society found that out and we had let him in, then it would be a whole nother discourse of
why'd you let him in?
Like United States being pieces of shit again. And so I'll end it kind of on the same note with the World Cup, but also, you know, to wrap up everything we've said. Social media can also be such an amazing place sometimes because I have thoroughly enjoyed watching countries unite on American soil.
Yes.
Watching the Mexicans and the Japanese party together.
Yeah.
And watching the Scottish people in Boston having a fantastic time.
They're having a blast, man.
And an Australian was in California or was in Florida and talking about how great it is. And it's just amazing because that's what America was founded for at the end of the day, was to be diverse and inclusive and have that kind of community feeling that we've been lacking the last couple of years. So it's great that, you know, countries are coming over and appreciating American culture and going, oh, they do have a culture. It's not that bad. And then again, the Mexicans and Japanese, no one could have ever put that as a combination, really, if you think about it, because they are totally different cultures.
Yeah.
But I saw a great video where this Japanese guy was having the time of his life dancing to some Mexican music, and the Mexican people were hyping him up. And then the Scottish in Boston. And I know there's plenty of other examples. These are just the ones that I've seen the most of. Playing bagpipes in the morning, and everyone in Boston came out and had a beer with them at like 9 a.m. because why not? Like, it's just wonderful. So there's a way that we can be a community. It just sucks that there's so much discourse for us to get there. Because over the last 5 years since COVID, there's been a lot of discourse.
Yeah.
A lot of discourse between a lot of countries. And now it's like, we're all looking at each other going, you're actually kind of cool.
Yeah. I would
say everything I heard about you was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I couldn't agree more. And I do tie it to social media, and it's a shame. And I don't know, you know, obviously Zuckerberg and
Zuckerberg.
I want to believe that it started with the intention of bringing people together. Unfortunately, it's gone the other way. And whether that's his fault being the CEO or owner or whatever or not is to be debated, right?
Yeah.
It is sad because I really feel as a world society, the discourse and the separation and the judgments and all that kind of stuff really started happening around 2010, 2012 timeframe, which I think is when Facebook really started coming. I think it was invented maybe in 07 or 08. So by the time it got going, 2010, and I think we've been on a downward slope since. And that's sad because, to your point, it's allowed me to connect with people that I would never have connected with again post high school, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, so-and-so is living in Texas now, and they have 3 kids. Like, all that stuff is so cool. And that's what I used it for a lot, especially with our family back in California, majority. And now I don't use it at all. I barely post other than for our show. Because I just can't get involved with all of what it's turned into. But I will say the World Cup is going on, and the greatest thing about sports is how it always connects people, because it is void of governing bodies. You know what I mean? I know it's the FIFA World Cup, and some would argue that FIFA governing body is way too influential in the world, and maybe that's true. But it doesn't affect the people. And I just love to see people come together, like you said, from all sorts of walks of life in the world. And then being a prideful American, I've seen so many posts that was like, we've been lied to about America. America is fantastic. Like, I've seen so many of those posts. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I just wish it could last,
I do too.
I just wish it could last.
The minute the World Cup is over, it'll all change.
I hope not, but history tends to show us that it will. But go USA.
It is wonderful.
Go USA. Congratulations to the U.S. men's national team for their huge win last week, and they play Australia tomorrow when this comes out. So go U.S. And
4th of July, England, we'll see you there. Rematch of the century.
250-year anniversary coming up for the United States, which is amazing. So, listen, we all have faults. We all have things, but doesn't mean you can't be proud of where you are. And I think a lot of countries show that when they come here. They come here for a better life and better existence and better opportunities, but they're still loyal to where they were born, despite all the things that country didn't provide for them. So it shouldn't be any different for us being American. If you're born here, we have our faults. Every country does, but you should be very proud to be an American, and you should support the U.S. men's team and support America in general. And if you disagree with something, then that's cool. We have the freedom to do that. So it's great to see people come together, and it's great to see people appreciate what this country is, rather than what they saw on their media channel. And
sports and music will always be the most unifying forces ever.
That's why,
I mean, in movies, when the world ends, you know what they all do? They sit around, they listen to music, or they sit around, they kick a ball around. And in World War I, there was a day that it was too cold to fight. So you know what they did? It was Christmas Day, and they didn't want to fight on Christmas Day. So the Germans and the British kicked a ball around.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful story you've ever heard in your life.
Right.
Did they the next morning get up and kill each other? Yeah. That's sad.
Yep.
It did happen.
Yep.
But for that one moment, it didn't matter who was German and who was British. All they wanted to do on Christmas Day was kick a ball around.
Yeah.
And that's it at the end of the day, y'all. It really is.
Yeah. I will say.
It's sad.
I will say with that, and then I'm done, I promise.
Yeah, I got to wrap up too.
It's why I think people like myself and many others get frustrated when athletes or musicians incorporate politics into their shows or their speeches, because it truly is the time that we don't want you to do that. It's even actors. That's why I don't watch award shows anymore. I'm not saying I don't disagree with you on some of your points or do agree with you. I just don't want to hear it then. And it's not because I don't value you as a human. It's just that those certain events take us away from all of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it does. Music and sports and entertainment should bring us together. But as soon as you have to input what you feel, it takes away from all that. So I couldn't agree more that the World Cup is just the greatest thing to watch.
They came at a great time.
Unite, and I'm super stoked that it's here while our 250th anniversary is being celebrated. So with that, we got to go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Please continue to spread the word. The last couple of weeks hasn't been controversial or anything like that, so maybe they weren't as fun to listen to, but this one's pretty good, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we appreciate it. And peace, love, Go USA. Back to you.
And like I say every time, y'all treat people with kindness. Love thy neighbor. Because again, like we say, we really don't care who you kiss. We don't care what color you are. We don't care where you're from. Just be nice. Please.
Be nice.
And other than that, we will see y'all next Thursday.
See ya.
Peace out.
Oh.